four things, the failure of Saul. First things, he offered burnt offering foolishly at Gilgal. Secondly, he spared the Ammonite. The country there at that time was in a very bad shape. It was very narrow. These places were occupied by Ammonites. You know, the Ammonites was Lot's descendant. Their blood is close to Abraham, right? Their origin was so unhealthy, right? Then over here is where Philistines occupied. So their real territory is narrow and small. For 450 years, they cannot fulfill what the Lord desired them to do. Lord desired them to come into good land, right, and slaughter the tribes and occupy the land. But eventually, after 450 years, they were struggling, barely surviving. In other words, how can we go on? So they asked for a king. So the first king, in principle, is extremely hard. Number one, people are not used to a king. Number two, everything have to put it together, right? So Saul has an extremely difficult commitment. Of course, he got help from Samuel, right? Samuel tells them how to rule the country. Remember when Samuel anointed Saul, at the same time, he gave some messages on how to take care of the country. So he gave him all the principles. But, you know, he was confronting on both sides in a very hard place, and he got into the trouble. He failed. Number one, he offered because of fight, offered foolishly. Number two, when the Lord told him, kill Ammonites, then he saved the king. But Ammonites has many kings, one of them. He saved the king, and then he eventually keep them all with intention, okay, God desires offer. Look, we don't raise up goats as healthy as Amalekites. You know why? Maybe because this is a place for shepherding. So he says, let's capture all of them so we can make an offer to the Lord. And according to him, the Lord will be so happy. But on the contrary, of course, Samuel told him something very hard. He said, has the Lord as great delight in burnt offering and sacrifice as in obeying the voices of the Lord. So he got into the second problem. Third problem, he really has fault. Why he has fault? Because that right after the first time, God says, the first time after he failed, he offered foolishly in Gilgal, right? And then Samuel answered him, God is going to depart from you, will take the kingdom away from you, and God is going to find another person that is a man that is after his own heart. That's where the word comes from, you know. So Samuel speaks this. After that, the Bible says, after that, then the spirit depart from Saul. So eventually, the later part of his life, he was extremely poor. You cannot believe such a decent person, nice person, would live and operate in such a bad way. Why? Not because he was evil, because the Lord depart from him. Then what? All the evilness exposed. Do you understand the way I'm talking about? You know, Saul's history tells us the moment the hand of the Lord departed, the moment we can become another person. So eventually, it's just hard for belief that trying to kill David, for what? To protect his own throne. In other words, he would say, this is very healthy because my throne was generated by God himself. If God generated, give me this throne, for sure I must keep this throne. If God give me this ministry, for sure I must keep this ministry. Do you get my point or not? If God give me this work, for sure I must keep this work. Unconsciously, human hands coming in and become damaging. So he tried to kill And the woman answered, oh, yeah, they said, even one killed 1,000, one killed 10,000. And then Saul was upset, right? So now everybody thinks he's wonderful. Only the throne was still with me. And then later, so he tried to kill David twice, and David escaped. Eventually, he told Jonathan, his son, what? And to all his servants, that you should kill David. If you don't kill David, David's going to take you over. You know, brother, it's too easy for anyone with any spiritual asset or attainment make all the effort to protect it. Protect it in the sacrificing of any brothers. If you are not for this, then you get out of here. If you are not with us, then get out of here. You know what is that? Saul's principle. We got the throne, and it's from God. We better pay all the price to keep it. We don't care whether the brother live or the brother die. We don't care whether the brother is prophet or non-prophet. We must keep what we feel the Lord has given to us, without realizing if it's really what the Lord has given to you, you don't have to fight that hard because it's from the Lord. Why can't you be a little bit peaceful and restful? Can we be properly healthy, Jesus lovers, and trust the Lord in everything? Do you get my point? So, you know, why Saul got into the third thing? Number one, I want to win the victory, so I made the offering, right? Number two, I want to satisfy God. So what? I keep the offerings. Number three, I tell you, I want to keep what the Lord has given to us. We will never let it be deviated. Therefore, whosoever is threatening to our control or influence or effectiveness, then we kill them. Brother, so Watchman wrote a hymn. So bad, I don't think that was translated. He said, sometimes there are strugglings. The brothers against the brothers. Everyone tried to stretch out their fist, and everyone is rough because people beat him in his life. I close my door, I sing hymns to you. I know you are the one suffer the most. The Lord is the one suffered. Just because someone is following what? It's stupid in a way. You know, however, remember, this is a brand of religion. We have to read Samuel chapter 28, verse 4. The Philistines. Now remember, Philistines are here. All the time with Samuel and David's ruling, Philistines was fighting with them. This means our flesh, fallen flesh. This means our natural man. Do you get my point? Typifies our natural man. So they're filled with natural strength. It's a hard fight. Now the Philistines gathered themselves together and came to pitch in Shunem. And Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of Philistines, he was afraid. Wow, there are so many of them. They are so afraid. He was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. He got scared. Now, remember, Samuel died already. Your brother said, right? Samuel was his God. So now he has no more God. So now he did something. When Saul inquired of the Lord, he went to the Lord now. And the Lord answered him not. You know, two reasons. Number one, he's not used to inquire to the Lord. Therefore, even Lord answered, he possibly wouldn't understand. Because when the time comes, you need to fight. What you fight must be your daily life. If it's not in your daily life, it doesn't work in that moment. Do you get my point or not? Then secondly, neither by dreams. So could he have a dream from the Lord? Then, nor by Urim, nor by prophets, because no prophets there with him. I have a sympathy. You know, brother, here, no God, no dream, no priest, no prophet, and he was a king. confronting a mighty army. Do you get my point? Confronting a mighty army. So what should he do? Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that has familiar spirit. In other words, get a witch for me. Could you believe God anointed eventually look after a witch? Do you understand what witch means, right? Witchcraft, the one that has the ability to talk to the ghost. Get a witch for me, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is one. Hey, it's interesting. What kind of people are surrounding him? Do you realize? Because he's far away from God. So all the people surrounding him is far away from God. I believe among his generals, among his staffs, those who advise him, there got to be a lot of unhealthy people. And that's why once he said, find a witch for me, and they say, oh, there's one right over here, and has a familiar, who is a witch at Endor. And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. There's 2 people accompany him, and for a king to go not in daytime but at night. I have a lot of sorrow for him. You have to say, poor Saul, poor Saul. Then they came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, behold, 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 wait a minute. You know what Saul our king has done, right? How he has cut off those that has familiar spirit. Whosoever is a witch, Saul killed them. You cut him off. You get my point or not? In other words, he says he banned in the country, nobody should practice this. We should only worship God. But the interesting is he doesn't worship God. That's why when he really come to God, he hear nothing. Yet he's good enough to know what's wrong. So he told the whole nation should abandon witchcraft. No one. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die? Because if I tell you I can do it, you're going to kill me. How do I know are you a spy or not? And Saul swear to her by the Lord. In the name of Jehovah, let me tell you, I'm not going to kill you. Brother, did you find something so interesting? Or so sarcastic or whatever? You can't believe these kind of things happen. A king went to witchcraft at night, disguised himself, and swear in the name of Jehovah and tell him, get the ghost up. In the name of Jehovah, I will not punish you or something. Saying, as the Lord lives, you see, he used the Lord's name, there shall no punishment happen to thee for these things. Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel. Samuel was really his God. Even Samuel died, he still wants to say Samuel. On that part, I have a lot of appreciation. I don't like it. In other words, consider Saul. I mean, he's much better than so many Christians. Many Christians, when they see the situation change, they do everything just to win favor. Even Saul, Samuel died, he still went to Samuel. There's such loyalty. That's a human virtue, a kind of loyalty there. But the way is terrible. The way is terrible. He said, bring me Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, because woman bring him up, she cried with a loud voice, and the woman spake to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. Because nobody else can get Samuel up. Only you can. Now you tell me that in the name of Jehovah, you're not going to kill me. You are Saul, you're going to kill me. Eventually, they all get exposed. No matter what you want to pretend you are. See, Saul got exposed here. And the king said unto her, be not afraid. What is he? And he said, I saw gods. Samuel come up, just like God come up. I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And said, an old man come up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that was Samuel, because he knew how Samuel dressed. And he stooped with his face to the ground. In other words, he bowed, right? And bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul,